I met a gypsy.
What I'm trying to say is, like, I care a lot about how I do, and I care a lot about my work. I think sometimes with all this perspective talk, you can kind of be like, like, do you really, like, are you really about this?
So you're not in it anymore.
And it's like, I am.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm able to kind of separate. It's not completely me anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I can turn it. It's because of all these things that have happened, and it's just, dude, it's just so nice to be able to show up to the race and just enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
I can still say that sucked. You got to be better. Like, I'll see you Monday at 6 a.m. to work on it.
There's a utility.
Yeah, there's something there that says no. Like, it stops here. It doesn't get that deep. And yeah, that's something I can't stress enough to people. Is like, if you see me happy at the end of a race where I didn't do so well, that doesn't mean I don't care. What that actually means is I care enough to where I had to figure all this stuff out so it can be sustainable. Because what are you going to do after you fuck up and you don't perform well? Before, it would take me like 3 days to leave my room. That doesn't help anyone.
Dude, I see that in Christian Craig. And that's kind of like, I started talking to him a little bit at the podcast about it.
Yeah.
Is like, and fucking love the dude.
Oh, he's
awesome guy, awesome wife,
super
awesome
nice
family.
Yeah, awesome
the
family.
Man. This is no shade at all.
No.
But it's like, I could see that in him. It's like he gets on the 450, he's just won a lights title, and it's like he gets so pissed at himself visibly. And to me, I look at that, I'm like, dude, I get it. You don't have to prove to me that you're pissed off that you got 10th. It's like, and now drop it, because there's now like a point of diminishing returns. It's like the function that he's after is like letting people know that I'm not okay with this result.
Well, that's and that's on the culture too.
Yeah.
Like, you feel that you have to be. I mean, there's a lot of team owners, managers, whatever, that they want to see that. Like, they want to see you miserable. Like,
Makes
you
the
have
team
to
feel
care
better.
that much about it. And it's so toxic, man. But I mean, I think you just get trapped there.
Yeah.
Like, you just get trapped there. You
Because
feel
it's
like that's what, that's why it's just kind of the same recycled thing over and over again. Like, it's just not healthy.
It doesn't make sense on a scale of, there's 40 dudes on the gate. So what? 37 of them have to be pissed for a week?
I know.
Like, that's the culture, and it's like, you get into, it's one of the things I love about F1 is like, you get points if you're one of the back marker teams, or you're not the guy. Like, everyone knows Max Verstappen's gonna win the race,
right?
So then it's like, if you're Esteban Ocon and you get on the podium, holy shit, bro, like, you're a don. Or if you're Danny Rick and you finish ahead of Yuki Tsunoda in your like, you're the don. It's like, we have these other, I guess, like, benchmarks or like Littman's test of like what success means in other sports. But in our sport, it's like, you either win or you fucking suck, go home and do 5 40-minute motos tomorrow, and like, I don't want to hear about it until you win again. It's like, okay, well,
it's crazy because it's like the riders themselves are not really empowered. Like, all the riders are walking on eggshells. Like, it's weird. You feel like you have to be this way because it's all, because RC was this way, or Rick Johnson was this way, or it's weird. This sport has a way of kind of like sucking the individuality like out of you in a way. It's because you feel like you have to be this way, and this is the only way that you're going to be accepted. Yeah. And that's been a struggle for me, because it's like, if I'm not myself, then what am I even doing? I'm like, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Like, what am I even doing here?
Yeah.
So luckily I've been able to do well enough where that hasn't really got me in trouble. But there's times I've felt heat for kind of just being myself and being how I am. Like, it's kind of start to feel like an outsider a little bit, you know, like people start looking at you a little differently. And I actually had the Moto Combine thing they had at Red Bud. I talked to they had me speak to the kids for a bit. And I told them, I always stress to them, it's like, be yourself. Like, that's the most valuable thing that you can bring to the sport is you, uniquely you. Like, everybody's got to go on bike rides. Like, we all got to do that. We all got to go to the gym. We all got to ride, right? But
don't make that your identity.
Do it, and just do it your way and be yourself. Like, we always talk about what can we do to make the sport grow. Is like, everybody, I mean, we have Barsha's got his thing, kind of Webb's got his thing. There's some different, Jason, Kenny, like we all have our like the top guys have their kind of their little things, but it's really contained. Yeah.
And everybody's so good
to have any credibility to say, to do anything different. I was just naturally kind of like, about my podcast. Because it's like I didn't, like, I'm not winning. Yeah. So I'm doing a podcast now and I'm not winning. So that just must mean I don't give a shit. It's like so weird that it's so weird that you can think that, but there's just something about the sport that I just think it's not really worth getting riled up over, because I think it's just a generational thing. I think it'll just naturally, just like everything.
I think it is, man. Like, I've been doing the podcast 5 years.
And I will say you have had a great impact on, like, people being more open and talking about these things. And like, I see like your fans on your posts. I watch all your videos, and like everybody's super stoked on it. So I want you to know I'm proud of you.
Well, I appreciate that, bro. No, thank you. But yeah, I mean, I do think, I mean, it's been one of my goals throughout this is like, I take realistically zero money from the industry. Like, completely self-funded. Right. Like there's a few things here and there, but I'm not owned by anybody. No one can tell me I can't say this, I can't do, like, because the way that they do that is through money. And I think that I specifically did that for as long as I've done it, because I think now, no matter if like Yamaha fucking starts giving us sponsorship or whatever, we've earned the right to keep it this platform, because it's one of the things that I feel most proud about is that it's a space like a Jason Anderson. Like, he just doesn't do shit. He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't like it. There's nothing that's for him that he feels like he can express himself. And it's like, to have a guy like him come on the podcast and say all of the shit that he wanted to say and get fully celebrated for it. Have Cooper be able to say...
Yeah, that was a good one.
And he got celebrated for that shit. So I think that, even in the 5 years that I've been doing it, there has been a change. And I think by you doing what you're doing, like, you're the perfect dude to have a podcast about anything and everything. I fucking listen to it. I love it. A ton of other people do too, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think over time the culture starts to change, but it's not a instant fix.
Yeah, it's hard to have, it's really hard. In most of the time it comes late in people's career when they're established and they've done, they feel like they're there, they've made their money, all that. That's when you start to see the real individual, like the individual, and I guess my hope would be that we start to see it like in these, like in these 250 kids coming in, like have their own thing. But it's hard to have the, when you, like we talked about earlier, like when you're in this box, it's hard to have the courage to, and most of the time you just think you are that for a long time. Start, obviously as you grow up, you start to realize, this is why I'm this way, because I'm, you start to kind of figure more stuff about yourself too. But I think you're right. It's coming a long way, and it's coming pretty quickly.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com. packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.